Boruto to Blue Vortex Chapter 5 is hands down my favorite chapter of Part 2 so far, with by far the best writing and art depicting emotional scenes and what I find to be the most interesting revelations and plot development so far. This is exactly what I wanted from Part 2 of Boruto. Now the chapter cover is of Sasuke, and the title is called Target, and the chapter starts off with a flashback of Boruto training his swordsmanship skills with Sasuke over the time skip, where they have a talk by a campfire reminiscent of the one they had way back in Chapter 2 of Part 1. Boruto asks Sasuke what he thinks of his Uchiha style, and Boruto does this thing multiple times throughout the entire chapter, where he starts to say Old Man Sasuke out of habit, but then cuts himself off to say Master instead. It feels like Boruto instinctively wants to call him Old Man Sasuke or Uncle Sasuke out of familiarity, but he calls him Master instead, either out of greater respect for Sasuke than ever before, due to him believing in Boruto despite all odds against him, or because he knows that Sasuke doesn't remember Boruto like that anymore, and so the relationship is no longer what it used to be, and now is just that of master and student. In any case though, Sasuke says that in this past year, he has already taught Boruto almost all the moves and methods he knows, and he asserts that he is not joking. Boruto has talent and he's a quick learner, what they call a genius, and so Sasuke has nothing left to teach Boruto anymore. Although he should at least be able to teach him one more new technique, given that he said he taught Boruto almost everything he knows, not that he taught him everything. However, Sasuke reminds Boruto that he is not done training. He needs to keep practicing and honing his mind and moves, for what Boruto makes of Sasuke's teachings will be up to Boruto in the end. In other words, Sasuke has given Boruto a foundation to build upon, but the house that Boruto builds is up to Boruto in the end. Sasuke then tells Boruto that he reminds him of Naruto, as he has the same determination in his eyes, and Naruto once led Sasuke back onto the right path after he'd strayed. It no longer matters to Sasuke who Boruto really is, and now he finally understands why Sarada asked him to help Boruto, because something is going on. Something that only Boruto and Sarada can deal with. That's what his gut is telling him, and that's why he mentored Boruto. The scene then cuts to their encounter with Code, where Sasuke manages to slash Code's eye. Now I wish they actually showed this scene of Sasuke slashing Code's eye, since that would have been really cool to see, and it would have shown how Sasuke managed to actually accomplish that feat. Because as it is, we just have to assume Code got outsmarted really badly, or he just underestimated Sasuke so badly that he got injured in the process. But I think showing it would have been better. But anyway, Sasuke tells Boruto to run, but Boruto doesn't want to abandon Sasuke, so Sasuke tells Boruto to listen closely. There is absolutely no way we can win against him at the present, so escape for now, survive at all costs, and build on all the skills I hammered into you. Then there won't be anyone who will be able to stop you. Sasuke then activates Chidori through his sword and says, "Watch over Sarada for me, Boruto." And then he charges towards Code and his army with Boruto screaming Master, and reaching his hand out as Sasuke runs away from him. We then see the aftermath of the battle as Boruto returns to that location, where Sasuke appears to have sliced down all but Code in one single claw grime, who ultimately bit Sasuke and turned him into a tree. Boruto then takes Sasuke's sword and says, "I've got this, Old Man Master." So I thought this was a nice, much needed flashback, and the only things I'd really critique is that I'd like to have seen Sasuke actively slashing Code's eye, and maybe see Sasuke slice a few claw grime in real time as Boruto runs away, constantly looking back at Sasuke before it cuts away to the aftermath. But I can also see why they might have preferred ending it off with Sasuke charging forwards. I just personally would have preferred seeing more of the actual fight with Sasuke chopping down some claw grime and maybe getting slashed by Code and then bitten by a claw grime, while Boruto is running away, biting his tongue and covering his mouth as he watches this horrific moment but has to fight his instinct to run back and help Sasuke. That could have been so cool and impactful in my opinion, and I'd love it if the anime added in an extra scene like that. In any case though, the scene then cuts to the Leaf Village where it's revealed that Moegi was turned into a tree, just like I said she would be last chapter. Konohamaru and Team Inoshika-cho then promise to get Moegi back somehow, and then we cut to the Divine Tree people, which is one of the two most interesting parts of the chapter in my opinion.
Very interesting indeed. But anyway.
The Moegi tree can sense Konohamaru and Team Inoshika-cho's deep sadness and rage, and the Jigen-looking tree says, "It's proof that your awareness is being stimulated. We may be one unit, biologically speaking, but Matsuri, those emotions you are feeling seem to be yours alone. In short, while we are still a single existence known as the Divine Tree, we are experiencing an unprecedented state in which we each possess independent consciousness. there is no major change to our goal of devouring the Otsutsuki, Boruto, and Kawaki, and to evolving into our final form. Moreover, there is one thing I'd like to declare to you right now. I don't even know why I feel this way myself. It's an instinctual desire. That's why it seems significant. I'm thinking of devouring Naruto Uzumaki. Now, Eida, who is watching this scene with her Senryuga, is surprised by this, and so are the other Divine Tree people, as Naruto isn't an Otsutsuki, and Jura, the Jigen-looking guy, says, correct. However, we are already a Divine Tree, and are evolving differently than usual. Thus, it appears some change is happening to our instinctual drive as well. Give in to your instincts. Bend your ear to your inner voice. Do so, and in due time, it should come to you, your personal target. Matsuri, the Moegi tree, then chooses Konohamaru as her personal target to devour, and Jura praises Matsuri's choice as he can sense her individual identity. The Sasuke tree then asks, exactly what are we? And Jura says it's a reasonable question, but ultimately it doesn't matter and worrying about it is pointless. What you ought to do is what's important. Your instinct will reveal that to you, who your target is. And that, Hidari, will lead to the formation of your identity. Eida then thinks to herself, the chakra of the people who were devoured and turned into trees by the Clawgram created these guys? This sounds very similar to the chakra food. Sasuke's chakra that was absorbed is what created the Sasuke tree Hidari. Moegi's chakra that was absorbed is what created the Moegi tree Matsuri, and so on. I'll save most of this for 1 or 2 videos about the 10 Tails and Divine Tree in the future that I've been working on for a while, but I think these guys are basically the seedlings of each person's tree. So Hidari is the seedling of Sasuke's tree, Matsuri is the seedling of Moegi's tree, and so on. As for Jura, I think he's the original seedling coming from the 10 Tails' main body. That's why he's the clear leader of the group. This chapter just further supports my theories about the 10 Tails and Divine Tree that I started writing out back in July. In any case though, the Bug Tree then walks up to Eida and says, "You're watching, aren't you, Eida? I've decided my target is you." Hidari then says, "Sarada Uchiha. My target is Sarada Uchiha." And now that we have each of their targets, I think each person's target is determined based on the last person they thought about before becoming a tree. As we know, the last thing Sasuke told Boruto was to take care of Sarada. Ishiki seemed to hold the greatest grudge towards Naruto since he's the one who took Kawaki in and drained Ishiki's life force using Baryon mode. Bug was enchanted by Eida and probably either thought about her because of that love, or was mad at her because the whole reason Code approached him to begin with is because of Eida, who he couldn't kill because of her love charm. And Moegi and Konohamaru are childhood friends and potential love interests, so Moegi thinking about Konohamaru before being bitten makes sense to me. These final thoughts before becoming a tree probably stand out the most to these Divine Tree people, and so they instinctually want to devour these targets more than anyone else. Perhaps even more than the Otsutsuki they want to devour as well. Overall, I greatly enjoyed this part of the chapter too. And now we finally cut to Amado and Sumire, and you know I'm hyped out of my mind to see Amado be sus again after so long. We haven't seen this guy in like 9 months, so I'm glad he's finally back. Now Sumire thinks about Amado's plan that he revealed in chapter 75 and says, "You're awfully nonchalant about this. Wouldn't it be problematic for you if Boruto were killed? You wanted him back for your daughter, right?" Amado responds by saying, "I sprung Boruto out of Kara's clutches with Kashi and Koji's help to take Ishiki down. After Ishiki's death, I embedded my daughter's data when I reconstituted Boruto's dispelled karma, because karmic resurrection is the only way to restore a human soul exactly as it was." Yeah, I guess Granny Chio just didn't revive Gaara and restore his soul exactly as it was, and Nagato didn't revive Kakashi and everyone else in the Leaf Village and restore their souls exactly as they were, and Obito didn't revive Madara and restore his soul exactly how it was, and the Edo Tensei doesn't actually summon a dead person's soul back to the living room to take over a sacrificial body exactly as it was, and Black Zetsu didn't summon Kage's soul somehow, and Hagoromo didn't summon the souls of the dead Kage, and Orochimaru's curse marks just don't exist, I guess. Tell me you haven't watched Naruto without telling me you haven't watched Naruto, Amado. But anyway, Amado continues saying, "Which is why I need Boruto alive." That's what you're getting at, right, Kakie? In regards to Kawaki, who also has a karma, his body is a scientific ninja tool, and yet, no one seems to know who modified him or when, despite him being the Hokage's son. But the truth is, it is clear. I'm the one who made those modifications. Sumire asks, "Why? How do you know such a thing?" And Amado says, "Because it couldn't be anyone else. Signs that prove it's my handiwork can be found all over him. It's a scientist's habit, just like how an artist leaves their mark on a piece they create. It's the same with his karma. I can instantly tell if it's one I reconstructed or not. For some reason, the special karma, containing Akebi's data, is on Kawaki's palm. These phenomena completely contradict my memory, but in light of this physical evidence, I must conclude that at least part of my memory has been altered. That's the only explanation. Not to mention that memories are no more than ambiguous figments of thought. As a scientist, there is no proof stronger than physical evidence. I don't know who did the tampering, but I can say this much. My only priority is the karma containing Akebi, and it isn't Boruto who possesses it. It's Kawaki. And meanwhile, Sai has been watching this entire conversation and does not look impressed, and he asks Shikamaru what he thinks about what they said. Now, I really like this scene because it makes Amado look really suspicious and interesting. I've said for a while that even if Amado was affected by omnipotence, he would eventually realize that Akebi's data was inside Kawaki's karma seal rather than Boruto's. So even if it doesn't make any sense to Amado's memories, he would accept it for what it is and only care about Kawaki now instead of Boruto. That's not remotely surprising to me. It's literally what I've been expecting to happen. What is strange though, is Amado's conclusion that his memory has been altered. I plan to break this down much more thoroughly in an upcoming video, but Sasuke and Shikamaru were both presented with physical evidence that contradicted their memories. However, despite that evidence, omnipotence commanded their memories to be what they were changed to be, and so everyone just glossed over this physical evidence and went along with their day. And Sasuke specifically said that each strange thing he noticed was drastically bothering him less and less, even when staring that strange evidence right in the face. By contrast, when Amado is presented with physical evidence that supposedly contradicts his memories, he is able to conclude that his memories were altered, even though omnipotence should prevent him from doing so by affecting him on an instinctual level just like Eida's love charm. This makes Amado look really suspicious in my opinion. It begs the question of whether or not Amado is truly affected by omnipotence after all, because only someone who is immune to omnipotence should be able to firmly conclude that everyone's memories were altered based on what we've seen from Sasuke and Shikamaru. And Sarada and Sumire seem to be on a similar wavelength as me, as they also talk about the scene with Amado and Sarada asks Sumire, "You're saying that despite being affected by omnipotence, Mr. Amado is aware that his memory was rewritten based on physical evidence? How can that be, when everyone else still insists that Kawaki is Lord Seven's son, even when shown a family photo with Boruto in it?" So we finally get confirmation that the family photo did in fact remain unchanged like I thought it would, and they did in fact show that photo to everyone, but they still reasoned around it and believed their own memories instead. Because like Sumire says, that's because they'll believe their memory over any physical evidence. I think most people are incapable of doubting their own vivid memory. Yeah, normally. This implies that Amado's ability to believe physical evidence over his own memories is not normal, like I said. So I think Sumire is also skeptical about Amado actually being affected by omnipotence. It just feels like Amado's putting up an act to make it seem like he was affected by omnipotence, but was able to figure out the truth based on the physical evidence before him. At the very least, it's something to keep an eye on. That being said, Sasuke does consider the fact that his memories might be undependable in Chapter 80. So it is possible that anyone can theoretically do this, it just might be really hard to pull off. Sarada then thinks about the time she pled to her father to help Boruto, and says, "But my dad still," and then Boruto interrupts and says, "Old man Sasuke, or rather, Master Sasuke believed in me. While still doubting his memory, he risked his life to save mine. For you, Sarada." Sarada then lunges at Boruto and gives him a big hug and says, "You're late, stupid Boruto." And Boruto says, "Sorry, I'm home now." And that's where the chapter ends. Like the beginning of the chapter, I thought this was another nice emotional scene that was done pretty well. Basically, the chapter starts and ends more emotionally, while the middle contains all the important information and plot developments. This was a really solid chapter in my opinion, and hands down easily my favorite chapter of Part 2, being consistently good from start to finish. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10 relative to other Boruto chapters. My only critiques are just that I would have liked to see a tiny bit more during the Sasuke flashback of him slashing Code's eye and fighting the claw grab as Boruto runs away and covers his mouth in horror as he sees Sasuke getting bitten and turned into a tree. I think that could have brought this chapter up from a 9 to a solid 10 out of 10 with no complaints, but overall I'm really pleased with this chapter, as it hit pretty much all the marks I wanted it to. We finally got Amado's return and saw more of his sussiness, We got more information and characterization from the Divine Tree people. We got the revelation that Moegi was turned into a tree like I thought. We got the reveal of what happened with Boruto, Sasuke, and Code over the time skip. And we got a nice emotional moment between Boruto and Sarada. I don't think we needed to see Kawaki or Mitsuki in this chapter based on the events that took place, so I'm not upset about not seeing them in chapter 5. Although, I still find it funny and weird that we didn't see Mitsuki a single time during the whole Code invasion. That's still odd, but that would be a critique of chapters 2 through 4, not for chapter 5. But I want to hear what you guys think. Is Mitsuki still on the balcony thinking about Kawaki, or has he finally moved on to something else? Is Amado actually secretly immune to omnipotence, or did he genuinely figure out that his memories were altered like he said? What do you think about the Divine Tree people, and how did you feel about the time skip flashback with Boruto, Sasuke, and Code? Let me know in the comment section below, but that's a wrap on today's video, so thank you guys for watching until the end.
You're already under my genjutsu.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, check out my podcast channel, check out Peak Fiction, become a member, and hit the bell icon for notifications.
Sorry, Sasuke. Maybe some other time.
Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.